Okay, so you want to believe this? This is unacceptable, in my opinion, and I believe I'm right. You can't have a space agency sending things up or being responsible for things when you have inclement weather and they're blaming the weather for failing to warn the world about an Earth impact event. This is ridiculous. You can't make this stuff up. Really, you can't. First, they have amateur astronomers finding things that they don't find, and then they're blaming the bad weather for failing to warn about an approaching hazardous asteroid. Uh, I'm flabbergasted. Okay, NASA blames bad weather for failure to warn about approaching hazardous asteroid, is the report. It's on Sputnik just now in. The celestial object flew past Earth 5 times closer to us than the Moon and highlights the need to improve NASA's detection systems. No kidding. Internal emails reveal that NASA discussed the 2019 OK asteroid, quote, because there may be media coverage, end quote. In other words, they're saying, okay, what are we going to tell people about this? We've got to make up some story. We've got to give them a report on what happened. Why did we not see it? Why did we miss it? Why didn't we not report on this? Because obviously they know that there are amateur astronomers out there watching, and they could have seen it. Also, the fact that I think the Brazil Space Agency reported this. So there are other space agencies that do keep a tab on what's going on around us. It's not just NASA. But NASA has to give a report as to why they didn't catch it. And they say because there may be media coverage at only 30 minutes before it whizzed past the Earth. The size of a football field. Okay? It's the size of a football field. It would have obliterated an entire city if it entered the Earth's atmosphere. Quote, because there may be media coverage tomorrow, I'm alerting you that in about 30 minutes, 57 to 130 meters, that's about 400 feet across, asteroid will pass our Earth at only 0.19 lunar distances, that's 48,000 miles. This is what Lindsey Jones wrote. He's NASA's planetary defense officer. He wrote this on July 24th. I'm sorry I have a cold. It's cold and flu season. I'm sorry about my voice. You remember that July 25th is when we had an asteroid coming in. The asteroid that was supposed to be flying past the moon. That's the other thing is that they don't come alone. They come in binaries or they come in groups. So many times you say, why does it seem that we have a lot of asteroids coming at us lately? It's because they come in groups. Or because we fly through an asteroid field that perhaps has been coming around every few hundred years, and we have to go through it. And the things that we're going through now are the meteors that, the meteorite that flew over Tunguska in the beginning of the 20th century, that flattened that whole forest, remember? And they're very big, and they're of course, could be dangerous. So, they didn't catch this. Why didn't they catch this? It was the size that should have been caught. So, they say one thing should be mentioned. NASA did spot the asteroid on July 7, but it moved too slowly to be identified as a near-to-Earth object. By the time it sped up, scientists could not detect it. According to media reports, NASA said bad weather and the position of the moon had hampered the asteroid's detection. You see, they don't have a steady velocity. It seems that they speed up, they slow down, they speed up, they slow down, depending on the gravitational pull that they have, depending on the Yarkovsky effect. The sun rays heat up the surface of the celestial body, especially if it's small. It's more easier sped up because of the heat on the surface of the body. It's almost as if you're hitting it. The heat differential causes the body to spin on its axis to tumble on its axis. And that's one way. It's like as if you're hitting it and pounding it, and it goes off its trajectory. And the one that came at us, July 25th, that fell into the Caribbean Sea, was supposed to be way farther than the moon, and it was supposed to be sailing safely into the wild blue darkness of the universe, and it didn't do that. It came careening into Earth. We're very lucky it didn't hit a city. So this one again was noticed July 7th, moving very slowly. Then it sped up, and they said it sped up, but it was behind the moon. We couldn't see it because it was behind the moon. Why is that? Don't you have satellites up there? You've got things up there. I don't understand. When you have asteroid tracking, you only track them with Earth telescopes? Don't you have satellites tracking things out there? If you don't, you should have. You can't just rely on things on Earth where you have celestial bodies going in front. You're going to have even more satellites that, the internet satellites that various private companies, one of them being Elon Musk's, the Starlink, it's going to be at least 15, anywhere between 15 to 30,000 satellites up there. How will you be able to monitor and track asteroids if you have all those things blocking your view? So this is just going to get worse. These viewing problems and tracking problems are just going to get worse. So they say one thing that should be mentioned, NASA did spot the asteroid July 7th, but it moved too slowly to be identified as a near-Earth object. By the time it sped up, scientists could not detect it. According to media reports, NASA said bad weather and the position of the moon hampered the asteroid's detection. It would have hit over 30 times the energy of an atomic blast at Hiroshima. This is what Swinburne University astronomer Alan Duffy said. He called it a city killer asteroid. NASA scientists rushed to condemn doomsday predictions. BuzzFeed News received numerous emails regarding this. In one of them, an unnamed NASA official wrote this: "Asteroid can't be a city killer when it flies by Earth at 70,000 kilometers. And if and when an asteroid impact might occur, it would not release any nuclear radiation." Okay, well, obviously, this NASA official is a twit in the brain. The man obviously was not talking about nuclear radiation. He was talking about the destruction ability. He wasn't talking about nuclear radiation. Now, other emails suggest that people within the agency feel that there is a need for a better detection system. In 2005, the U.S. Congress tasked NASA with detecting 90% of hazardous asteroids. Hope next time an asteroid of that scale flies past the Earth, the weather will be lovely. Is that so? What a stupid excuse. Don't you have any infrared? They would go through the water and the clouds. You can very easily see what's happening. Something that would cut through the weather problems. First you have a weather problem, then you have the moon problem. Then you say it's going too slow. We didn't connect. What is this? What is this? You can't have problems like that when you're tracking asteroids, killer asteroids.
If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.